Okay. Good evening to one and all electronically present here. I am Dr. M. Sriram, Assistant Professor, Department of Management Studies, Peppermint College of Engineering, Coimbatore, is going to be your host for the second day of FDP series on COVID-19 pandemic, strategies for effective work-life balance of academicians. With respect, I welcome my director, Dr. M. R. Vanithamani, who has given me this wonderful opportunity to host this program. Thank you, madam. On behalf of Department of Management Studies, I once again welcome the faculty fraternity to the second day of FTP series titled Enhancing Work-Life Balance by Harnessing Behavioral Health. I am so pleased to introduce today's resource person with us, Ms. Chelam Narendran. Having 15 years of rich experience in people management and excellent interpersonal skill, she is currently working as a behavioral therapist in Srijan Counseling Services, Coimbatore, by managing and understanding clients' requirements and formulating systematic action plans for change of behavioral patterns and modification of lifestyle. She is a certified rational emotive behavior therapy practitioner and she has a green belt certification in global career counseling. She is allied as columnist with Kovi Metro and also carried out projects on mental health and children education. Her knowledge and ideas are presented and published in various medias like Kovi Metro, Trinity Mirror, Kovi Post, FM Radio City, Dinamalar, Siyama Magazine, and Deccan Chronicle. It's a pleasure to welcome you, ma'am. Now the session is all yours. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay. Good evening to all. I'm just wanted to discuss about this behavioral health. Action speaks louder than words. We are much affected by their behaviors. In this current scenario, everybody is talking about behaviors. Once if I just disconnect, it's going. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I can hear you, ma'am.
How about others? Because my phone is it's echoing for me. Can I go with this
Yes,
one?
we can hear. Yes, we can hear you, ma'am. It's audible.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, thank you so much.
We are hearing, madam. Yes.
Yes, we'll go. See, today the major concern is on behavior. Most of us, we always talk about the children's behavior. And when it comes to the health, we are much worried about the physical and the mental health. Right? Have any one of us thought about behavioral health? Right? Health is something which we are able to do it and we wanted to become. So that is where the health comes to play a major role. When it talks about the behavioral health, how we react to ourselves and to others. And most of the time we see behavior as an explicit action to others. It starts within. And then move on to the other persons, right? Okay, I'll just put my slides on so that we have an interaction and move on. Sriram, could you help me in sharing the screen?
Yes, ma'am. Sure, ma'am.
How can I share the screen?
Ma'am, there is an icon next to that video icon, like share content.
Is the screen visible?
Yes, ma'am, it is visible, ma'am.
Okay, fine. See, this is how the webinar is going to be there. First, we are going to see what is about the behavioral health. Then the difference between the behavior and the personality, the habit formations, and finally, the approach that matters. So first time we are going to talk about the behavioral health. Right? what is about behavior? When we talk about behavior, it implicit, it has an emotions, it has an psychological, it is having biological factors. It talks about the mental well-being of the person. How much we pay attention for our behavior? Hardly, right? We always much wonder what to speak, what not to speak, and rather than how to react and respond to any kind of an incident. So if I ask you, could you just tell me how do you define yourself in terms of behavioral aspect? Can anyone put it? Hello? Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are audible, ma'am.
Okay. See, I couldn't see the chat screen.
Ma'am, it is on the right side of the screen, ma'am.
Okay, fine. See, how do you define your behavior? Or when I ask about you, or someone asks you, define your personality, how do you define it? Anything could be shared over here? And people ask you. We generally tend to ask the students in the question, how do you define yourself? Self-introductions. Okay, based on the habit. Friendly. How we react to the different situations. Okay, very nice. When we are talking about this self, I would like to show the 4 points. One is the self-concept. The next one is the self-esteem. Third one is the self-knowledge. And the fourth one is the social self. The social self is something which makes a person very complete. When we're talking about it, hello?
Yes, ma'am, you are audible, ma'am.
Okay. See, when we are talking about the self-concept, that's very important. So, most of us mention like friendly, psychological habits and everything. This all comes with the traits or the explicit character of the personalities. Before we talk about ourselves, we have some image of ourselves that is called as schema. I make a pattern of myself. That's called a schema. Then the cognition part, when you're talking about the self-concept, it's more of a cognition. Cognition is nothing but the ability to think and act on our own. So this too makes a concept. You're basically an ability or the pattern which you learn from your past experience. Second one is the self-esteem. So we always wanted to be in the very esteemed positions. Everyone wanted to respect us. Whenever we wanted to do something, before we think what I should do, I always think what other persons will think. It becomes an evaluative statement or the opinionated statement. Most of the time, we are going with these two statements, evaluative statement or the opinionated statement. That is where we get a contradiction. Am I thinking for myself as a personality, or am I defining myself as a personality of the others? The third one is the self-knowledge. When we're talking about the knowledge, most of us will talk about the acquired knowledge or theoretical knowledge or the knowledge about the universal or some kind of an information. It's very important when I'm talking about this self-knowledge, it's to know about your mindsets, your thoughts, your belief patterns. And when I know about myself on this, what is my belief? Where does it comes from? About my feelings, emotions. That makes me a very knowledgeable person about myself. The last is the social self. The social self is nothing but it forms a complete man, right? So ultimately, we wanted to have a social status, or we wanted to be recognized in society. Only when we got certain kind of recognitions, the recognitions varies from a person to person. Either it could be a money or the rewards or kind of appreciations. It varies from a person to person. So only when I get that from the society, I feel as a complete person. Till then, I say I'm doing something. If you see that in Maslow's hierarchy, the uppermost is self-actualizations. And the people who are into philanthropic or something, people who are doing it for the society, they are a complete person because they are into the social self. So before when I define my personality or myself, it is very important to know about this four concept. If you just work on, just think about it when I know where my the ability comes from. Hello? Just give me a moment.
Yes, ma'am, we hear you.
Hear me, right?
Yes.
So this is what define yourself in personality. When you see this as a whole, it exhibits more of a behavioral personality. People knows myself or an individual as a personality through their behavior.
Hello? Are you there, ma'am?
Yeah, I'm Dr. Vanita here. Dr. Sriram, I hope you can hear me.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so I think the resource person has got some network problem. Still she joins, maybe we can have some basic discussions and let her continue once she joins with us, right? Good evening, all the participants.
Good evening, ma'am.
Hello, ma'am. Hello.
Yes, ma'am. You are.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So, like as such, no, it is for all the participants. Yes, happy evening, all of you. And the ultimate purpose of organizing this FDP is like being faculty, we all are at home, and at the same time, our organizations are expecting us to perform the basic duties that we normally do when we are there in our routines, right? So we need to balance our classes, we need to balance the activities, like maybe including what we have done in the same way. Many colleges are organizing their conferences, they're organizing their faculty development programs. You organize so many webinars connecting the industry people with the students and staff. All those things are going on the one side. The other side, you're at home 24/7. At that time, your family expects you to spend more time with them also. So apart from your routines that normally you do, even when you go to office, you need to do something extra. Now, you have to engage your children, you have to engage your elders at home, and you need to concentrate on your development also at this time, right? So apart from ensuring that your children are sitting for their online classes and you are sitting for your classes as a teacher, you are supposed to sit as a student also in some time, so that once the lockdown ends, we need to go back with our educational institutions for the certificates in our hand, telling that we have attended an FTP, we have done with the publication, and we have gone for maybe we have attended a few webinars. Certain things could be done. In that way, we all are totally held up, and the schedule goes a bit hectic for all of us, right? So when this question was there in all of our minds, we thought like, why can't we go with an FDP which speaks about work-life balance? And work-life balance is a term which normally speaks about the quality of life that we have in terms of our workplace as well as in our personal life. And it is not new in our lockdown alone. Even before that, when we all were there in the routines, before our lockdown, when we all were going to our offices, when we all were going to our colleges, our schools, or our regular works, at that time also we had same work life discomforts or comforts, because no, we used to follow a routine schedule, We start from home by 8:30 in the morning, and we return back again by 6:30 in the evening. But we had a fixed schedule which says that yes, before 8 in the morning, you have to complete all your tasks and you leave home. And once you're there in your office or in your college, your 6 to 7 hours are fixed. So you have your own timetable and you have your own fixed agenda at the institution, and we focus fully in it. So at least at that time we'll be fully into it, and we can concentrate with all facilities needed for that available in one place. And physically, you have people around you. You can take support from them, assistance from them, and you continue. And in the evening, when you're back, right, you're back home. You're fully available, at least 90%. You're available to your family and you fully concentrate on them. And when, yes, the routines are, the schedule goes continuously in that. So there also, again, we had work-life problem or work-life issues a bit, because when you are at home or when you spend very little quality time with your children or with your family member, we all had a feel that we work more than concentrating on the family. Normally, we could have heard people telling that you earn for the family, but you don't care for the family. Normally, many a times, right? We used to hear it from our friends and the other members. Quality in our work-life balance. When comparing with that situation, current situation is something all new that we're facing, right? We as humans, we are all social animals. We always try to be in contact with the other people, try to be in touch with other people, and we feel the society, things happening in the society. And physically, we are separated. We enjoy, share our thoughts and share our opinions. We sit in our places and we connect through all online. And at the same time, you do both parallel. So at that time, we face work-life balance a bit more. The gap in it is becoming a bit more. So in this situation, it is a must for all of us to think about it and proper schedule for us, right? So if we could have a proper schedule, it would be better. Our work life will be more efficient. We'll be comfortable with our official targets as well as our personal targets. And once this lockdown is over, when you complete all these things, when you back to your office, at that time, with our family, sure that whatever we do during the normal period in our college or in our educational institution, we are continuing till today. And then we are more effective in both, right? So I believe all members are quite comfortable with that. But to some extent, even during the registration, called me and told me that we are really stressed and we have the frustration as we are unable to balance both. We have the difficulty of balancing. Sometimes when I sit for my class, my kid is asking some assistance. When I start attending a webinar, my elders at home are seeking some assistance. So I don't know as how to overcome it, how to manage it. In order to answer all these questions and in order to make you feel comfortable with this situation.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, please.
Ma'am, we are not able to hear, ma'am.
Oh, my audio is not clear?
Hello, ma'am. Hello, ma'am. Ma'am, I think there is a technical glitch in the audio.
It's not clear, ma'am. Audio is clear. Video is not.
Vanita madam, I suppose the speaker is back now, so we can proceed.
Dr. Sriram?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, our speaker is online, ma'am.
You just address. Yes, let her continue. We can give it.
Ma'am, Chella, ma'am,
Give the
can you hear me? Chella, ma'am, hello?
She is there online. Her PPT is visible.
Yes, ma'am.
Now only video is visible. Madam, are you here? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Her person has to join with us, right?
Hello.
Yes, ma'am. We can hear you, ma'am.
Yes,
Okay, fine. So we go with the session.
Yes, ma'am. Yes. You can continue, ma'am.
Thank you so much for your
Yes, ma'am.
patience. I'm sorry for the interruptions. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
And you can see my screen, right? Oh, can you see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
nothing is visible, ma'am.
But,
Yes.
but your PowerPoint PPT is not.
Ma'am, your slide is not visible,
Can you
ma'am.
see it now?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Cursor is moved. Visible. Yes,
Now
ma'am.
visible, ma'am.
Now, from moving from the self, we are going to the influential factors. Right?
Okay.
Each one of our behavior is always influenced by one or the other. When we're talking about our decisions, our emotions, our state, mental state, everything is influenced by other factors. Here, I would like to talk about 3 common factors which has a very greater influence in our life. The one is when we're talking about the work-life balance, we always have this what I should do in work and what I should not do in home. So the first is workplace influences our lifestyle choices. We all make a choice, right? So that choice is influenced primarily by the workplace. Then the lifestyle has got an influence in our habits. We all have certain habits, choices, behaviors. And I do know that's a common saying. When you practice something for 21 days or 42 days, that becomes a habit. That habit forms the behavior. So the influential factor is primarily your choices, your habits, which in turn gives you a behavioral aspect, right? Now next we'll move on to the behavior versus personality. Because why these two are very important is behavior, it's both are very much interconnected. Behavior is influenced by personality or personality is influenced by behavior. It is always a point of discussion. From my point of view, both are always linked and interconnected with each other. I'm just showing you slides here. How behavior is linked with personality. Can you just someone say which is behavior and which one is personality? Can you just please text? I have given what we are, cannot change, stable, consistent, pattern of thoughts, behaviors, and emotion. Is it a personality or a behavior? Can someone give me? Maybe you can text.
Ma'am.
What they are? Is a personality or it's a behavior? Oh, wow, it's a human activity. Very true. Where do we categorize personality? Okay. Why it's personality? We can say it is also a behavior, right? Why we call it as a personality? Culture, Okay, it's a behavior, it's a personality. Okay, that is where we always have a confusion. What we are is a personality, and what we do is a behavior. There is a thin line difference between a personality and a behavior. The personality is something which we develop over a period of timings, okay, which is consistent throughout our life. For examples, you could say like someone is very honest. Why do we say someone is very honest? Because through his actions and words, we always see that person is a very honest person. So when we're talking about the personality, our words and actions go together, one. And second thing is it is consistent, persistent, irrespective of all the situations. Behavior is something which is very flexible and it changes with time. We commonly tell that, okay, why did you change? You said to me, in some incidents, people change their behaviors, didn't react to me properly. Why do we say this? Because we change according to the situations. We are very flexible. I don't have anything as fixed as my personality. That is where the who am I, the self gets connected. So it's very important to define your personality.
Who said this?
Pardon?
Madam, please share your PPT screen, ma'am.
PPT screen, madam.
Yeah, one second.
Share the
It's
screen.
there. It's visible.
Now it is visible.
Yes, now visible, man. Now visible, man.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay.
Ma'am, you can
that is why we
maximize the
define
screen, ma'am.
personality and the behaviors. Are you with me? Can I move to the next one?
Yes, ma'am. You can maximize the screen, ma'am.
Maximize the screen.
Slideshow, ma'am. Create slideshow. F5, ma'am. Plus full screen view.
So here my F5 goes to an
Presentation view. Yes, ma'am. Sure, ma'am. Sure.
That last icon, ma'am.
From clear.
Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Is it okay?
Yeah, it is clear, ma'am.
Is full screen visible?
Visible. Full view. Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, madam.
Okay. So the next thing is the core thing of our subject. The workplace and the home conflict in terms of the behavior. Okay, the personality that fits with your role. In every house we have these issues. When we come to office with a bad mood, the manager says like, okay, you have something wrong at your place. So get fresh and come to the work. Similar things happens at home. When we react something, when we get angry or get irritated, the house members say like, okay, I think you had a bad day in our workplace. Get fresh, or just leave it and come back. This kind of a dual thing happens with every one of us. How to manage it? Then we at one point we are very much confused which behavior is appropriate for the work and which one is appropriate for a home. You always think there is a dual behaviors. In my point of view, I always say that your work life and home life is home personality is one and the same. How you deal with it does make a difference, not your complete approach or entire change of your personalities. That is why it's very important to have a personality of yourself, to know more about yourself. That is what we have seen in the initial slides. Okay. Why we said who am I? The self is very important. The dual personality is always create a conflict with us as well as with the others. So here we would like to tell you like how we can balance it, the behavior which is very appropriate for home as well as the workplace. So is there any way that I just wanted to show from you that why do we have a behavioral conflict at workplace and home? Everybody has it, right? Even the children say, you tell one thing and teachers tell one thing. I am very confused what to do. So it's a very common phenomenon at home. Can you just tell me why do we have a behavioral conflict? Can I have some views so that we can take it easily, I can connect with you. In proper communication well. No patience. Ego. Behavior is different from everyone. Understanding, misunderstanding. Right? These are the very common things which you were talking about, right? Every day we have this, your egos, not a coincidence, stress, right? Well, this all is a part of our things, right? The conflict comes because of moral dominations, misunderstanding, moving from a comfort zone. Office has set and accepted behaviors. Why set? There is an accepted behavior, right? Behaviors we differentiate into two behaviors only. One is the accepted behavior, the other one is the not accepted or unaccepted behaviors. When we say as an accepted behavior, it is the norms which people like to listen to it or like to see to it. When I say unexpected, right, people don't like it, or we don't fit into their level or their assumption, or they have some set of behavioral lines. We don't fall into it. That becomes an unexpected behaviors, right? Coming to this, thank you so much. That was a wonderful insights. The major thing I would like to point out here is two things. One is the spillover, right? We always carry work to home and home to work, right? This influences people in a positive or a negative way. Spillover is nothing but something we left at the end of the day. In office, we have a work to complete before 5 or 6 or something. What happens is we by default it gets extended to 7:30 or 8 or something. So we feel like, okay, I could complete before 7:30, but unfortunately, even irrespective of that, it gets extended to 8 hours. No? Why? Because when I do my work, I'm not fully involved or engrossed. I'm much concerned about the time. Will I able to finish within 7:30? Will it get extended? My worry becomes, I'm just extending my negative thoughts one after the other. So I'm not able to complete my work. Such a psychology behind spillover. And, so when the time comes like around 8 or 7, I'm not able to stay in the office, then I'm just going back. Even then, my mind is still disturbed. I'm not able to concentrate in the work at home. I'm carrying this. Okay, still I have to finish. I have to carry on. So this spillover is very dangerous. You should know how it can be controlled or how it can be learned. We should know to put an end to it. Okay, there are some things which can be done. There are some things which cannot be done. There are something which I have to carry forward into the next days. When I know it very clearly, when I segregate into compartmentations, okay, I can do, I cannot do. It's anyways, even though if I sit it for 10 o'clock or 12 o'clock, it's not going to complete. I should carry it for the next day. So when I divide this work into a different compartment, then it's easy for me to carry this spillover. I put an end for it. That is where you have to carry this spillover. If it's positive, someone appreciated you, then it's very easy. When we go home, then we talk about very good things. Okay, today my boss has been appreciated for this work. It would have happened in the morning till evening or the next 2 days we would carry it with. That's a positive spillover. That is always been welcome. Even if it's a positive spillover, I would always suggest you to put it in the same day. Put an end in the same day. When I carry for the next 2 or 3 days, it gets more. So you always know how to manage this spillover. Know to divide and put a start and end to a work on every day. That will help you in managing this spillover. The second one is the segmentation part. When we're talking about segmentation, it is more of the physiological part. That is a person who divides. Okay, this work you have to do. This work belong to management department. This will belong to electronics. So we segment into physical parts or something which is into visible form. But actually, segmentation is psychological. It starts within your mind. When I delegate the work to someone, I segment it in my mind. Okay, this work has to be given it to him or given it to them. That is where the segmentation starts. One. So we should understand it is purely of the psychological part. The second thing is work and family are completely different. The features are different. I cannot implement, when I usually talk, for example, I could be in a managerial positions. I have people to work for me, or I always in a position to give an orders, right? That's my work. I carry this nature to my home. I come home, then I order my kids or I order my family members to do. When I talk about in the instructional mode, people may not accept it. So I should divide this. Work role and the family roles are something it's very different. The behavior is something which we have to have a common, but the role conflict should not be coming to play either at workplace or at home. That is where the major issue comes. We always conflict with the role. When we have the role conflict, it ends up in the behavioral conflict. So we should always know to segment this. Third one is they are linked physically and temperamentally. Temperament is nothing but your mood, the state of mind, how you perceive the things. So that's more important when receiving or delivering a message. So when we know to handle, when we know to apply this spillover methodology and segmentation in work, it's very easy to handle the behavioral conflicts. We won't allow some kind of a behavior to happen either at home or at work. So this is more important. If maybe you can take some time and put it. Why I reacted today at home this way? Is it because there is a work pressure which is spilled over, or it is because of my nature? Nature is something which you can do with a temperament, right? Fine. So this is what about this spillover part. Why we get a behavioral conflict? Because of these two categories. Okay, the next one I would like to talk about the habit loop. How the behavior forms out of the habit. Habit is very important. Today due to COVID-19, everyone is talking about the hygiene. We are, this 45 days or 1.5 months, we are talking about the habit formations one day. In those days, like, wash your hands once you enter the home. These are small habits we are forming, which eventually becomes our habit. Behaviors. When I enter the home, I naturally tend to wash my hands and get fresh myself and then get into my room. So the habit loop is very important. Okay. How does it relate with your behavior? Any idea? I just given you a small picture. One picture talks about things, the other one feels, and third one is behaves. How does it relate to us? When you're talking about the work-life conflict. Any points? You with me? If thinking matters in a behavioral part, can anyone text? Can anyone respond? Are you there? Ira?
Yes, ma'am, I'm there, ma'am. I'm waiting for
Is
response.
audible?
Yeah, it is audible and clear, ma'am.
Okay, fine. So the way you think does make a difference in the way you feel and act. Any kind of a conflict, any kind of a behavior is formed by the way we think. Thinking is most important. Naturally, we have a tendency to look into the action point, but not on the thinking point or the feeling points. How many of us are able to express our emotions very clearly, even in the happiest moments or in the saddest moments? We always struggle to get the right words. Right? So that is where more important is how you think, how you feel, how you act. You should be knowing this to form a very good behavior health as well as to make your habit formations. Choice are the options. we always know these words are used very commonly. Is there a choice or is there is an option? We always wanted to go on this safer side. Most of us, we don't want to, we find very difficult to take a decisions, especially when it comes for ourselves. Why? Because we don't want to take any responsibilities or neither the accountability of that. So we always depend on someone to take a call for us. That is where we are not able to have a very healthy behavior, right? Choice and the options. There is a thin line difference between these two. Choice is what I make. It's a decision what I make, right? Either I can sleep casually and read the book, or I can sit and read the book, or I can walk and read the book. That's a choice. That's a decision I make. Choice is nothing but it helps you in making a decision. Option is always I have a choice to do it or not to do it. I can do an yoga or I can go for a sleep. It's an option I have it. There is a two-way part. So it's in our hand whether I have to go with a decision or I have to go with an option. Okay. I would like to highlight on these 3 points. Behavior is a choice. How I behave with myself and others, I always make a choice of it. I prefer to behave well with Sunita and I prefer to behave bad with Rahul. That's a choice I make. That's what everybody does, right? I'm very good to my husband, but not to their in-laws. I'm very good to my teacher, not to the professors. We always make a choice. The choice, out of that choice, we exhibit our behavior. Second, health is an option, right? We always tend to overlook. I still have a time. I'm healthy. I don't have a time for it. So whenever we talk about the health, there is 2 things which strikes our mind: physical and the mental health. We pay much attention to the physical health. Okay, when there is a pain, I could really feel it. I can always see it, and I can tell to people, oh, my leg is paining, the ankle is paining. I can always measure it, and I can always quantify it. When it comes to your mental health, our society doesn't allow to it, right? I always say I'm happy, I'm sad. There are more than 100+ words they say, like, to express our emotions, but we hardly use 10 words. Smileys talks about at least 40 to 50 smileys we have it. And we tend to use only 4 or 5 smileys because we learn to use only 4 or 5 emotions in life. We do not know other emotions, except for, certain common emotions and the feelings part. So mental health is something which we always have an inhibition to talk about. This behavioral health lies between the physical and the mental health, which is always taken it for right. We talk about the behaviors. Your behavior affects me. Most of the time in any kind of argument or something, people forget the words they use, but they remember the expressions. You did your face like that. You didn't pay attention. When I came there, you didn't see me. You didn't notice me, And whatever we talk, it goes on the floor. So behavior is health. Behavior health is an option. We always make it as a choice. Third one is the pattern. Pattern is something which we develop out of your habits. If people wanted to appreciate me, I love appreciations. Everybody loves for it. Now I love much appreciations. Whatever I do, people wants to appreciate me. And what I do is, every small things, whatever I do, I see whether someone is appreciating me, or rather, I would ensure that I'll do an activity where I'll get an appreciation for someone without saying a word. It's a reverse way of working. If I do this, I'll get this. I know the end result. So habit is a pattern. When I do something, when I develop, when I wash my hands, when I get into the house, this COVID-19, everybody needs to wash my hands. So that becomes a pattern, that becomes a very healthy hygiene. Wherever I go, I am conscientious, I do that. Okay, I have to wash my hand. I should not touch the table. So that's a pattern I do. So it's very important. Behavior is a choice, health is an option, and habit is a pattern. So you have, when you want to have a very healthy behavior, you should follow this. At least anyone. Okay. I'll just take other few minutes. We have time, other 10 minutes, right?
No, we have time, ma'am.
Okay, fine. So I'm going to talk about the habit loop. Everybody is talking about we have to develop a very good habits and everything. So how do you develop that habit? Now, behavior is the output of the habit formations. I'm giving you, there is a 4-step: the cue, craving, response, and the reward. Cue is nothing but your intuitions or the intentions, what we wanted to do about it. Craving is something we decide for it. Response is something which we act on it, and reward is the recognitions what we get out of it. To make it very simple, Q is the trigger point. I wanted to get my PhD. My trigger point is PhD. That's a clue, right? Craving or the motivational force. Why I should get a PhD? People call me doctor, right? So that's a craving. I have a craving for the doctorate degree. So my motivational force is doctor. The response is the performance. What should I do to get my PhD? I have to apply. I have to do a thesis. I have to work on it. I have to select my topics and everything. That's performance is nothing but an action role. And the reward is the recognitions. When I get my PhD degree, that's the ultimate moment, right? So that's my recognitions. That's my reward. Reward is nothing but the end results. When I wanted to do something, at least I should visualize my end results. When I have my end results in hand, Q means Q is nothing but the clue. You get the clues, right? I thought so. I saw this, but I missed it. Whenever we go for an exams, I had an intention or I had an intuition that I had a clue. That is the Q. Q is nothing but the clue. Okay? So when I know the end results, I'm automatically motivated to this. Without knowing the end results, I'm not motivated to anything. Whatever comes in my mind, it goes just like that. So very important in forming the habitual structures. Okay. So when I'm talking about the habitual loop, there is 2 things. One is the good habit and the bad habit. Very important, right? Bad habit is nothing but the habit which is not accepted by everyone. Good habit is something which is accepted by all of us. That's it. Bad habit is something like, okay, this is not good for nothing. It's not like that. Right? And I wanted to check. Okay. The first is for framing your good habits. The clue should be obvious. And I said about PhD, it's very obvious. I could see it out. When something is very vague or unclear, people are not motivated to do that. People are not even wanted to engage with that. So please be rest assured when you wanted to change something, it has to be very crystal clear. Second is attractive. Something needs to appeal to me. If nothing appeals to me, I will not do it. Even though I have a passion, even though I like it, but it doesn't appeal to me, then I may not pay an attention to it. In every work, say like, okay, when you achieve like 100, for example, in sales, when you achieve 10 lakh sales per day, you will be rewarded. When I say you will be rewarded, I'm not motivated because what reward am I going to get? Is it going to be monetary rewards, or is it going to be an incentives, or is it going to be a kind of promotions? Very unclear. When something is very clear, I'm not motivated. So when it's attractive, I should like, okay, when you achieve the sales of 10 lakhs, you will get 1 lakh as your incentives within 30 days. It gives a very clear deadline. So it has to be very attractive. Then it has to be easy. I should think, in a Coimbatore, I can achieve the sale of only 10 lakhs. If I say like, okay, 15 lakhs you have to achieve, or 20 lakhs you have to achieve, then people may be encouraged because I know the market. Whatever you say, it's very clear that it's going to happen. So whenever we say something, it has to be achievable or it has to be measurable. Okay, the last one is the reward. Reward is the satisfaction. It is very, very important. Now, you do anything, there are people who have n number of things, money, materials, whatever you like, you get it. Unless until you are satisfied, nothing moves on. So ultimately, whatever you set as a habit, you have to be satisfied. Without any satisfaction, whatever changes you make, it doesn't give you any kind of a happiness. So you should ensure that the results should be right for you. When it goes for that is to develop a new habit, right? So there is something which I don't feel like having it. I need to delete it from the system. That is called, temporarily they call as a bad habit, but I would say a habit which is very unaccepted by myself. If it's not accepted by myself, then it's not accepted by others. Okay, so it's a reverse of all those things. It has to be invisible. Okay, I don't want to watch TV, or I don't want to watch serials. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes,
Can
ma'am.
someone say it's not audible? Hello,
There is a slight disturbance in the audio, ma'am.
is it okay now? Kiran, is it clear now?
Yeah, it is audible, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Please continue.
So when I'm talking about, I don't want to watch, in a major house. Now people, we don't have any time for, so we would sit with the series. I don't want to watch it. How do I go about it? It's invisible. Either I have to shut down the TV, or I have to get an alternate option for it. I book for my studies, or I do some online courses, something. So the one which I don't want to do it have to be invisible. The second is unattractive. I talk all negative about that things, or I don't encourage them. So serials is always meant to be kind of a negative influencing. So it's going to create disturbance in my peace of mind. It's going to disturbance in my family. It's a waste of time. I could do better things. In that case, it's going to be very unattractive, difficult. Make it very difficult. And the final one is unsatisfying. Even though if I do it, even though if I watch the series, I'm not going to be happy about it. Right? At the end of the day, I'm not going to get any benefit of it. I'm going to waste 4 hours of my time or 2 hours of time. What is the end result I get? Which is unsatisfied. So when you have this, when you work on this, you always have a result. Okay. So if you have time, just make a note of it in your notebook. Write down one habit you wanted to develop, one habit you wanted to delete, and one habit you wanted to have as a buffer. What is develop? We talk it about as a good habit, and delete as a bad one or the bad habit. Third one I'm talking about is the buffer. What is this buffer? Buffer is always act as a catalyst. That is something which I would be able to manage. I need some kind of a support systems. Every time I cannot do it. So at times I have something to match about it. That's called as a buffer habit. So you try to make down at these 3 points, do one at a time, and you will surely see the results. And you can have this practice for 21 days. Why we talk about the 21 days is because our brain develops a new neural cells within 21 days. So that would make the work easy for us. When I do it like today one thing, then after 4 days, I will not do it for the next 2 days, and again I'll go it for the next 3 days. In that case, it becomes very challenging. The next one. So we are almost at the end of the slides. Okay. Approach that matters. How many of you feel approach is very important?
I agree with you, ma'am.
How many of you? Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. You are audible.
I'm asking how many feel that approach is very important? Okay, so there are many. Yes, I could see it. It's very important, right? How to have a very winning approach? Everybody has a different set of approach. At times, our approach gives a positive response, negative, or the neutral response. How to have a win-win approach? How to have a win-win situations, right? So we are almost in the end of the slide. I'm talking about here, the last one is the star approach. Everybody wants to be a star, right? So the star approach is nothing but it makes us to behave with ourselves and with others. The first one which I'm talking about is sincerity. What is sincerity? Is like, we always tell, we are very sincere in our work and everything. But sincere is not defined that way. And I'm very sincere with my work. From the time I started till the time I ended, do I have the same level of energy? Am I making my team with the same level of sincerity, doing it with the same sincerity? That matters. Is my screen visible? Hello?
Muttarigi, you have shared your screen, please. Ma'am, you please share your screen, ma'am. Challa, ma'am.
That's why I'm trying once.
Okay, ma'am. Someone has operated it. No problem.
Okay, fine.
It is visible, ma'am.
It's visible, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, fine. Thank you. The next keyword is thankful. Thankful is a very, it's a very precious word. I have seen in our culture saying thank you is something people feel that they are not very close with each other. When I always say thanks to everyone, people say, why do you say thank you? We are friends. Please don't say. No, I feel someone. No, thank you is not, it's not something which you should not say to friends or something. The culture is something which we have to look in a different way. Something, I'm happy about it. I'm expressing my happiness to you. The word of thank you. So thank you is very important. Being thankful to the person and thankful to the situation is very important. We all feel grateful about all these things. Have we expressed? This simple word of expression would give you a major difference in life. I always tell there is a 3 magical words in life. One is the thanking you. The second one is the sorry. Third one is the gratitude. These are the very 3 major key words in life. When we have these words in life, everything it turns very sweet for us. So being thankful for the situation and for the people is very important. And third thing is, only when I express, people can see it. People can feel it. So it's very important that in any of your conversation, please have it. Third is the appreciate. How many of you appreciate reality? How many of you give appreciations? Right? We hardly. Okay, very good. Okay. So there are a few hands which are raising that we do appreciate. When we are talking about the appreciation, there are few people really appreciate others. Now, appreciation has to be very genuine. Most of us, we don't appreciate genuinely. The things which didn't matter, the things which need to be improved, the things, there are some things which have to be changed. We really need to tell them the effort for appreciation for the effort they have given it. But what are the changes it has to be done, we have to tell. Most of the time appreciation is taken as whatever people do, we have to appreciate. In recognition to the work. Yes, very nice. But whatever has to be improved, even that also have to be said in an appreciating way. Right? And most of the things, we appreciate others and we rarely appreciate ourselves. Right? When I do something, how many times I appreciate myself? Hello?
Yes, ma'am. Please continue, ma'am. You are audible.
Okay. How many of us appreciate ourselves for the work we do? Right? And even in our culture, parents highly appreciate the kid. They feel like when I appreciate, then he will sit on my head or he will overdo with it. So appreciation has to be given and be mind, when you appreciate people, it has to be very genuine and appreciate for the effort, not for the results. Result is a byproduct. Don't worry about the results, right? The final one is the relaxations. How many of you are very relaxed? You always get times when we go somewhere, okay, it's getting time. I have to go for another walk. So we are not in the present moment, or we are not focused. We are not able to focus in the next activities also. It's very important to have a relaxed mind. Relaxation is nothing to do with your, when we talk about people, okay, relaxation is like, okay, I take rest. When I hit the bed, that's when I feel relaxed, or I have to take 10 minutes for the relaxations. Okay, that's very fine. That's the luxury of relaxations. In the normal or the due course of, in our daily activities, relaxation is something we fail to do it. Whenever we do a work, we are always in a tense. We are worried, we are anxious, we are depressed, we are irritated. With all these things only we do the most of our works. Now, when you sit and when you do the work relaxedly, you feel much difference. Your mind is very relaxed. When you are relaxed, you are tend to focus on the work than on the other expectations or the output of the matters. You are able to work very sincerely. You are able to work before time. That's the output of the relaxations. When you have this approach in your mind, in the star approach in your day-to-day activities, it will really change your behavior in a wonderful way, right? And again, there is two things which I have given as the lock and magic key. Why this lock and magic key? At times, when we talking is easy, right? You talk, you have to be very polite, appreciate, thankful. Yes, it's going to take time to practice. This lock and magic key is nothing but whenever I get shut, whenever I get stuck, or whenever I'm not able to do it, then I used to have a magic. The magic key is a word which is unique to you only. For example, if I say magic key, for me, I would say like I have some kind of a motivational words. I could say like, okay, magic key is cheers. So where stuck is something, lock is where I get stuck. That particular point, that particular position is called, today I'm not able to give my presentation. I got stuck, right? In the starting of the presentation, there was a technical error. I got stuck. That's a lock point for me, right? So if I get tense or everything gets collapsed, okay, the TV is not working, the system is not working. So I need to have something to manage that particular few seconds. So I need to cheer up myself. Whenever I'm tense or stuck, I use the word cheerful. I get sure, then that's a magic key for me. So you can also have a magic key of word for you. If you are able to maintain that, that position for 30 seconds to 1 minute, the whole scenario gets changed. That's very important. Whenever we get stuck or something, we get over tensed or something, we should know to manage that. Now, at least for 30 seconds to 1 minute, you manage it, you will see the difference, or you will find a different approach. Okay, and that's a star approach which I would like to tell you. In order to summarize, I think I'm done with the sessions. Okay, to summarize the whole sessions, behavioral health is nothing but your mental state of mind. Second, your thoughts are explicited through your actions. It's a choice, you make it, and it's a pattern. When I have a very healthy behaviors is nothing but the accepted behaviors which help to define my personality. Personality is derived out of your behavioral or the habitual behaviors, right? So this is what I would like to share with you. And thank you so much, Dr. Vanitha ma'am, for the opportunities, and Shriram for helping me with all the technical supports and hosting me, and the participants for having me here and listening to me patiently for the last 1 hour. Thank you so much. And if you have any queries, you can please ask me.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much, ma'am. Now I request all the professors. The session is open for questions. You can unmute your mic and ask questions to our madam, or you can also use chat to ask questions. Ma'am,
No doubt, ma'am.
Yeah, please.
From Manigandan, Suga Sainara Janimal College.
Hello.
Ma'am,
Yeah.
now sincere is only based on honest, ma'am.
Okay.
What about that content of sincere only based on honest, not based on our job performance, not based on our job involvement? What about that?
Sincerity is based on honesty, right? I didn't get your question clearly. நீங்க கொஞ்சம் question clear கேக்குறேன், எனக்கு அது புரியல.
இல்ல மேம், இப்போ சின்சியர்ங்கிறது நம்ம ஹானஸ்டா பேஸ் பண்ணி மட்டும் தான் இருக்கு. ஒர்க் இன்வால்வ்மெண்ட் அவன் பண்ற ஹார்ட் ஒர்க்கை பேஸ் பண்ணி எங்கேயுமே சின்சியர்ங்கிறத வேல்யூ பண்ண மாட்டேங்கிறாங்க.
ஆமா,
அதான் மேடம் ஸ்மால் டவுட்.
அதுதாங்க சின்சியாரிட்டி எப்போ வரும் அப்படின்னா வந்து எனக்கு மனசுல நான் நினைக்கும் போது நான் ஒரு வேலையை நல்லதா பண்ணணும், எனக்கு அந்த வேலை முக்கியமா தெரியுது. ஏன் சின்சியரா இல்ல அப்படிங்கிறதுக்கு வந்து ரெண்டு விஷயம் இருக்குங்க, சரிங்களா? ஒண்ணு, எனக்கு அந்த வேலையை பிடிக்காது. எனக்கு வேலை பிடிக்காம நான் அந்த வேலையில ஒர்க் பண்ணும் போது என்னோட சின்சியாரிட்டி அந்த ஒர்க்ல இருக்காது. அப்ப அந்த இடத்துல நீங்க ஹானஸ்டியும் பார்க்க முடியாது.
கண்டிப்பா. ஆனா எனக்கு மோஸ்ட் ஆஃப் தி பீப்பிள் only focus on job acting, so result higher attack.
ஆமாங்க, ஜாப் ஆக்டிங் தான் ஃபோக்கஸ் பண்றாங்க. இது வந்து நம்ம எப்படி ஃபோக்கஸ் பண்றோம் அப்படின்னா வந்து எங்களோட டேர்ம்ல வந்து we always say it is ரெண்டு விஷயம் இருக்குது. ஒன் இஸ் தி ரெக்ரூட்மெண்ட் எரர் அப்படிம்போம். அதாவது நம்ம ஒருத்தரை வந்து ஒர்க்கு எடுக்கும் போது அவங்க வந்து நீட் பேஸ்ட்ல வராங்களா, எனக்கு அந்த வேலை பிடிச்சு வராங்களா, இல்லைன்னா என்னோட நீட் பேஸ்ட்ல வராங்க. இப்போ எனக்கு இமீடியட்டா எனக்கு ஒரு ஒர்க் தேவைப்படுது, எனக்கு ஒரு 20,000 சேலரி வேணும். எனக்கு வந்து இந்த டீச்சர் ப்ரொஃபஷன் பிடிக்கல, சரிங்களா? எனக்கு பிடிச்சது வந்து மார்க்கெட்டிங். எனக்கு மார்க்கெட்டிங்ல ஸ்கில்ஸ் இல்ல, எனக்கு கிடைக்கல. ஸோ எனக்கு டீச்சர் ப்ரொஃபஷன் தான் கிடைச்சிருக்கு. எனக்கு சேலரி வந்து என்னோட செலவுக்கு 20,000 வேணும். ஸோ ஐ டுக் அப் திஸ் ஜாப். அதனால என்ன ஆகுது அப்படின்னா வந்து எனக்கு வந்து நான் இன்வால்வ்மெண்ட் இல்லாம ஒர்க் பண்ணுவேன். நான் இன்வால்வ்மெண்ட் இல்லாம ஒர்க் பண்ணும் போது என்ன ஆகும்னா ஐ கெட் ஜாப் ஆக்டிங். சம் பீப்புள் வந்து இது டீச்சிங்க்குள்ள வந்த பிறகு எனக்கு ரொம்ப பிடிச்சிருச்சு, I'll do my best. So when the involvement comes, the sincerity comes, right? I hope I answered your question.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ma'am, there is a question in the chat.
Okay.
Why behavior is a choice? Why not an pattern or option?
Pattern is okay. Okay. How do I behave or how do I react to the situation? I decide, right? That is a choice. I behave. Okay. First explain what is pattern. Pattern is something which I develop over a period of time. Pattern is a schema. நீங்க பாத்தீங்க அப்படின்னா வந்து மேனுஃபேக்சரிங் யூனிட்ல இது ஒரு டிசைன் இருக்கும், ஒரு பேட்டர்ன் இருக்கும், அது வந்து நான் கண்டினியூஸா போய்கிட்டே இருப்பேன். ஸோ இனிஷியலா வந்து டு டெவலப் தட் பேட்டர்ன் ஐ நீட் டு மேக் எ சாய்ஸ். How I'm going to make a choice? Once I made a choice, then I develop a habit, then I develop a pattern. So to reach to the pattern, first I have to make a choice. And do I need to behave good with this person or do I need to behave bad with this person? One. It's a conscious choice. Pattern is a subconscious choice. I'm always good with people. I always talk very politely, very sweetly to everyone. That's a choice I made in my life. My subconscious mind absorbs that. That becomes my pattern. So irrespective of any situations, I behave sweetly with people. That is going to take a longer time. So whenever I make a choice, I can decide on it. That's why I'm saying behavior is a choice. Option is something which is very flexible. I want to talk to you, I don't want to talk to you. Healthy is my option. Unhealthy is my choice. So there is a thin line difference between all these things. Is it clear now?
Yes, ma'am. I hope you have
answered your question.
Yes, ma'am. I hope you have answered to that question. We also have another question like how to control anger.
Okay, anger is your nature, or you get angry for any particular incident, or it's your nature? For simple things, if I get anger, it becomes my nature, or if something provokes me or irritates me, I get anger. There's a difference. If you get anger for something at some point of time, it's going to be very momentary. It's quite natural. It's quite acceptable. There is no problem about it. When it's going to be irritations and it's very continuous, then you have to change your thought process. You should not use the word no anger. Instead of that, you can tell no. There is a concept. We firmly believe in that. When you change your thought, you can change your actions. So how do you want to change your anger? First, you have to decide. I have to be. I wanted to, instead of feeling anger, I wanted to feel little concern. That's the healthy part. Now, anger, there are two emotions. Anger is an unhealthy emotions. Concern is a healthy emotions. When you say anger, instead of getting anger, you should think in your mind, I should be very concerned about these situations. When I think about concern, the whole scenario gets changed. So I actually tend to sit and look into it. That is one way. First, it's to change your words. Instead of using anger, you can use concern. That's the one thing. And second thing is, you just analyze the pattern of your anger. Whenever you are getting angry, what are the situations which is provoking you to get anger? When you understand the patterns, try to change that pattern. For example, someone mentions in a critical situation. What do you mean by critical situation? A critical situation varies from, it's a subjective. The situation which is very critical for you is not a critical situations for me. It's all very subjective. Situations. For example, when I'm talking with my boss, I get irritated. Why? When I analyze it, there are some incidents which is unlikely, which is unlikely happen between you and your boss. So that situation, you have not got a solution for that particular situation, or you have not dealt with the situations. Anger is an resentful, is an accumulated emotions of your past, and rather it's kind of a negative feelings. You accumulate all your negative feelings. So you try to listen those negative feelings one by one. Then you will get into something. You try to nullify with it. Why did I get angry? Try to think logically. Why did my boss get angry to me? This work didn't happen. Why this work didn't happen? You have to analyze this thing. Then you can get into the logical mode. Then your anger will come down. The third point is, you can always go with your breathing exercises. Breathing exercise is nothing but just focus in the present and go with the flow of your breath. This will help you into loosen your things. One. These are the three things you can do it, because I'm giving you a very perspective which applies for everyone. Specific to the situation, the things get slightly changed. Have I answered it?
Yes, ma'am. I hope the professor who asked the question has understood your explanation.
Okay.
There is another question. If the performance of the students is less than what we expect, what we should do? Either we appreciate and motivate them, or give negative comments and ask them to improve.
The performance student, it's your expectations, not the student's expectations. Okay, I expect all the students to behave well. It's my thought. It need not be that every student should behave well with me. There are some students who can misbehave with me. There are some students who can perform well. There are some students who cannot perform well. There are some students who really had an issue. So expectations, I cannot have it everything. So how you can have your expectation is, out of 100 students, you can expect 80 students. Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
See, out of no, I always say you can divide the students pattern into maybe 20 to 20, 40 is to 20 is to 40, right? 20 students in your expectations in your class, there are 100 students, 20 students will perform better. No worries. The rest of the 20 students will not perform. No worries. The balance, the problem comes, your expectations of the problems comes with the mid of the 40s to 40, people who are above 60 and people who are in the category of 30 to 40. Right? So whenever you have an expectation, let the expectation be conveyed to your students in a straight form, in a right way. My student, for example, when I was in my college, whenever the results come, my professor used to come and ask me, tell him what's your mark. I'll say like, this, and he always told me you should take above 80%. I wonder what happens to this man. Every time he comes and asks to me, and he's asking me to take above 80. I said, okay, sir, but I never taken it seriously. But at the end of the college, he, when we were having a talk, he told me that, when we were just about to move out, he said that I wanted you to get an admission in MSc at this particular college. For that, you have to score above 80. I know his expectation is that, but it's not conveyed to me very clearly. When the expectation is conveyed to me very clearly, by then everything is over. Right? The first is whatever the expectation you have to clear well to the student one. Second thing is you need to give the proper support for them. First, you need to analyze why he is not performing. Is it that he didn't understand the subject well, or he doesn't like it? He is there with the compulsion of their parents or something. So you have to analyze it well. Third thing is you have to motivate him. Fourth thing is whatever it takes, you appreciate it, you develop a bonding with the student. Eventually, your expectations will be met by them. He will study for you rather than for him. Right? Has it been answered?
Yes, ma'am. I hope the faculty got the right answer from you, ma'am.
Okay.
Ma'am, we also have a question like, will yoga help to improve behavior?
Yoga helps to calm your mind, but in my perspective, it doesn't help you to improve your behavior. It helps in having a pattern. Okay, religiously I do yoga for 7 to 8. The habitual pattern helps you to devote for your healthy timings. But if you ask me, will it help you to change your behavior totally? I would say no. It helps to relax your mind in certain ways. It has a genuine health benefit. Laughing therapy is something, human beings naturally they know to laugh. Why we need to, I always believe in humans can laugh without any therapy is something which helps, when people are not able to do something, therapy helps you to realize the potential and make them to do it. You have the potential to do. You have the potential to laugh. Not like that. Laughing therapy is good for the people who are not able to do it, but otherwise humans are always, you can always wear a smile on your face. Any questions more?
Ma'am, we have another question from the faculty. We are performing to the management beyond the level of our efforts, but always we get negative approach. What should we do?
Okay, so the objective is different. Okay, the management has a different objective and I have a different objective. The overall things are slightly different. That is why the management is not very happy with our performance one. Okay, so when I see maybe in a team of 10, I perform, you perform, but the rest of the peoples may not perform. So the overall presentation is, it's not up to the level what the management expects. That is why people say, but individually, I feel that I have done my best. Why is not I been recognized? When we work as a team, the recognition comes in a very late way, or it takes time. So that is one point. And the second point is, why do we human beings tend to look for the appreciations? It's very right. But it's not a must. They always have to appreciate or recognize my work. More important, the thing is, have I recognized my work? When I look appreciation from others, internally I have not recognized my work, because I feel I've been recognized, or when I will recognize my work only when I get the response from the management or from the people whom I wanted to recognize me. அவ்வளவுதான், ரொம்ப சிம்பிள். ஏன் என்னால வந்து ஒர்க் அப்ரிஷியேட் பண்ண முடியல அப்படின்னா வந்து, இல்ல ரெக்கக்னேஷன் வந்து எனக்கு ரொம்ப முக்கியமா இருக்குன்னா, நான் பண்ற ஒர்க் வந்து என்னால அப்ரிஷியேட் பண்ண முடியல, ரெக்கக்னைஸ் பண்ண முடியல. யூஸ்வலா எப்படி நினைப்பேன்னா, யாராவது என்ன ரெக்கக்னைஸ் பண்ணனா ஐ ஃபீல் வெரி ஹாப்பி அபவுட் இட். யாராவது என்ன ரெக்கக்னைஸ் பண்ணல அப்படின்னா வந்து ஐ ஃபீல் தட் ஒர்க் இஸ் நாட் டன். ஸோ மை ஹாப்பினஸ் ஆர் மை ரெக்கக்னேஷன் வந்து எப்பவுமே வந்து அடுத்தவங்க வேர்ட்ல வைக்கிறேன். தட் இஸ் வெரி ஸ்ட்ரெஸ்ஃபுல் பாயிண்ட் ஃபார் அஸ். When I keep that as one of the factor, then it becomes easy to handle. Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Anything else?
Ma'am, we are getting many positive chats from participants, the professors.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
We have really enjoyed your presentation, ma'am. It was an eye-opener presentation, and we found many new contents through your presentation, ma'am. I personally felt that it was not stereotypic. It was very new for us. The contents you delivered, it was wonderful.
Sriram, and thank you so much for the participants. They are very lively and they are very interactive. They made me to go. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am,
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you.
We hope.
Yeah, officially.
And, yes, ma'am. I thank every professors who have patiently attended to this session. I thank Chellam madam for her wonderful presentation with a lot of unique contents, which made us very happy and very comfortable, and it also made us to think what we should do further. I also thank our director, Dr. M.R. Vanithamani, for giving this wonderful opportunity. I also thank the Department of Management Studies, Katpam College of Engineering, Coimbatore, for making this happen. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, madam.
Thank you so much and have a good evening. Thank you. Bye to all of you.
Bye, ma'am. Thank you.